If you think this is just a game, you're wrong. Prestige, the greatest show on earth. La Liga transcends society. La Liga is equality, innovation, responsibility. La Liga is the future. La Liga is so much more. It's a different way of seeing the world.
Well, a very good afternoon here. It is Moi International Sports Complex, Kasarani, the venue for the game of the KPL, where Tusker, Kariobangi Sharks entertain Tusker. The weather, 23 degrees Celsius, and then the wind speed is 13 kilometers per hour. Precipitation is 66%. Well, Coach William Muluya has put in Brian Bwire as his first keeper in this one. Then Brian Bwire, the big man, starts in goal. Then the back four, we have Eric Juma, Geoffrey Lemu, Teka, Bodo, and then the men in the midfield to supply to the two strikers, Masembe, and then Peter Udu, Kevinton, Machika, the youngsters start in terms of attack for the side. While the center referee for this one, Samuel Moora, assisted by Beatrice Achieng, and the other man as Tusker's Matano, first 11. Mboya starts in goal today. Vincent Gessa, Michael Matoya, Majak, and then Mboya is the man who starts in between the sticks here. Then Ngesa, Eugene Asike, Roger Saloro, Luke Namanda, Humphrey Mieno, Farajo Denyi, Michael Matoya, the foreman in the midfield. Then Sinyo Cheng and Majak start as the twin strikers for the side. Well, it's a good pitch here. Well, the pitch is a bit soggy. We were there with Bernard Otieno to just check how it is, and I'll tell you, soggy, but if the sun stays up, I think at one point it will come back to its normal. We're just about the kickoff here. Tusker in second position. For Sharks, very unfamiliar 15th position on the league. We are on in this one, and I'm in the company of Bernard Otieno to take you through the 90 minutes of this encounter.
Oh, thank you very much, Jacob. Yes, of course, a very soggy pitch that we will be playing on today. But like we said earlier on, it doesn't present an advantage or a disadvantage to anyone. It affects the clubs both ways, both clubs the same way. So let's keep talking about it at the official KPL. That's where our Twitter handle is at. And you can also leave us comments on www.kenyanpremierleague.com as we watch a clash of some sort with Tusker FC perched in the second position on the log, and the Kariobangi Sharks second from bottom. That's if you eliminate the Sony Sugar side. Not very familiar territory for the Sharks, but also these are familiar waters for Tusker, but in recent times they've not been getting there. So the question is, does Tusker take 3 points from this one to inch closer to Gor Mahia, or will the Sharks side take 3 points and swim out of that very difficult situation they are in at the moment? They put in a good lineup, somewhat not a very familiar one to most of the players. You do remember Humphrey Mieno, played for Tusker FC, left and went to Gor Mahia, left and went to Ethiopia, back to the Tusker FC side, now playing in the midfield. And together with Michael Madoya, they will be responsible for supplying the balls up at the front for the strikers. And the strikers in this case for the Tusker FC side include Sidney Ocheng and David Majak. But on the Shark side as well, they've got Kevin Tom, Muchika, and Julius Basaba up at the front. But remember James Mazembe and what he usually does for the club. And of course on the bench, they've got another marvel that you've always wanted to watch in the name of Sidney Okale. And we'll see whether or not he'll get a chance to come into this game. So just about 2 minutes of play in. And again, Jacob, I've got to ask you, do you change to a technical approach in a game like this in a soggy pitch, or what do you do if you are the coach of any of these sides? What would you advise them?
Well, it's safer than sorry. That is the first policy when you play in a wedge pitch like this one, because you try to dilly-dally with the ball, you might lose it and you might get punished. So that's the thing is, simplicity is genius for you to get good results here.
Well, Michael Madoya is still retaining the captaincy of the Tusker FC side, and will also be in the midfield. He's released a couple of very good shots from a distance that have troubled goalkeepers as well. I think most people then agreeing on one of the qualities that made him an MVP a few years back, showing in a couple of the matches as well. They might just be ruled off as flashes, but yes, sometimes you need flashes to be able to show exactly who you are. Tusker in the all-white attire and black, that's what we were worried about in terms of the slipperiness of the pitch. And Ochieng is the man who doesn't manage to clear the ball that he wanted to. I think he wanted to drop it down for a cross and simply lost his footing there, sliding on the wet grass. As the Sharks will start it again from the left side. Talking about formations, are you still looking at them, are you?
Well, it's a very clear 4-4-2 for Tusker, and Sharks also deploying more or less the same system. So two strikers are being relied from both sides, although Sharks look like they have a 4-2-3-1 kind of formation, with Michuka as a point man there, then Duke Abuya just playing behind him.
Well, Brian Guire becoming a very instrumental part of the build-up for the Sharks side. But that's too many touches coming from the goalkeeper, in my opinion. He's at about 5 touches on that ball, getting back to him from the defenders. That's always the danger. When the ball doesn't leave that area, then the strikers on the other side converge to try and pick up that ball. Oh, Sharks lucky that they're coming out with it. This is deemed to have been
Was an advantage.
yeah, they would have had advantage, wouldn't they, Jacob?
And I think that's why the center referee didn't blow the whistle, because Sharks still had the possession.
It's Peter Udu who seemed to have been doing well, but this run around here by the goalkeeper can sometimes take a worrying trend. But you're going to have to contend with the slippery conditions. It's easier to keep possession and build slowly other than try to attempt a run. Oh, some good control coming from the Sharks side, picking up the loose ball. And a return. It was Geoffrey Lemu who had it, and Patila Omoto becoming part of it as well. He's running the midfield. Patila Omoto looking for an opening on the left side, but doesn't quite work out for them now. Oh, but even the attempt at the shot, I think you get caught up in the rhythm as they try to come and build up, Jacob, and then you expect a very good shot coming from the far range. And when it doesn't come in, it becomes a little bit of an anti-climax even to the coach himself, doesn't it?
Well, Muluya trying to think, what more do I need to do to my side? It's not the best of games here. Comparing or just looking at his current form, but very interesting. Majak being brought down here. It's an open challenge.
I seem to have been trying to go for a control over it. Looked like it was going to go towards his hand, but then he also gets the benefit of that foul as well. Mr. David Majak. There's been a lot of talk about that young man, David Majak.
Well, I think he's on his way to the paid ranks.
Oh, is he already?
There is the Vineyard have it.
Is it your usual rumors, Jacob? Here is a shot for Tusker, looking for a return ball here, looking for a quick reaction, but Humphrey Mieno has never been the quickest of the takeoffs. It looked like he was going to get himself into a very vantage position, but he didn't put his foot there on time. Brand Buira arriving ahead of him. Tusker losing a chance to go ahead here. Madoya will be deemed to have been offside. He was actually behind the defender, so this is going to be a free kick. It's going to be for the Kariobangi Sharks side. So you're telling me something about the rumors, Jacob?
Yeah, there is a rumor that Majak is on his way out.
Jack was part of this, actually. He's the one who, for whom the foul was called, but this one, Humphrey Mieno didn't arrive on time. So apparently, when Jacob says there's a rumor, you know that is 60% chance that it's news, isn't it? Especially when it's related to football.
Well, I tell you, we've had such before. Then within a day or two, then the player is out of the country. So I think for Majak, it's clear that we'll be leaving Tusker.
Okay. Is it in this little break that is going to be there just before Christmas or after that?
The small window break. So in December, I think that is when the window opens, December 1st.
So he's going to be going into the second leg of some league somewhere. Okay. That gives you a hint. Must be European.
Of course.
Okay. Yep, because it's winter in South Africa in August, so you can't talk about the winter break at about this time unless you're talking about Europe. But it's been a delight to watch. Let's hope that he gives a good account of himself here today. But the Sharks are ruling the seas in this one today. Even though James Mazembe doesn't get to this one to pick it up, because off the field of play for a throw-in is going to be for the Tusker FC side. When you look at Tusker, Jacob, being the third most successful club in Kenya's football history and their recent performance, what comes to your mind sometimes?
Well, I think they should have done better. Of course, they do not have the kind of rhythm that is expected of them. But I think being in that second position, even whatever happened this game, they stay there. I think that's a commendable kind of job that they are doing.
Regardless of the results today, they will remain in second position.
Yes.
That means they're in a class of their own.
Well, I say they are class above the rest, right?
Yeah, not their own, because Gor Mahia is still above them as well. So, well, the two of them are in a class of their own. This is back to the Shark side, to the Kariobangi Shark side. Playing it out to the right to Eric Juma. Intercepted out for a throw-in. It's going to be for the captain of the side, Eric Juma, to take. Patila Omoto sending it onto the left side. There's absolutely no way of avoiding the many stories about the league, you know, being strained a bit, and the clubs finding it difficult to honor their contractual obligations in terms of salaries, Jacob. And well, we can only hope that the companies will see it needful to put in some money in a game of football, even if it's part of their CSR.
Well, it's the most beautiful game, and it needs money to be able to flourish and also to stay at the top there.
This is a cross coming in from the left side, cut out by Humphrey Mieno. He does cut it out for a corner. Still going strong in that midfield for the Tusker FC side. Went back to familiar waters, puts his left foot onto it. Doesn't have the, well, doesn't decide to follow it. And so lets it roll off the field of play for a throw-in. Rather for a corner. It's going to be for the Shark side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players that they've lined up in there to try and go for this one. 6, I think. 2 of them huddled in there in that muddle. They're taking a very low one. It's quickly and easily cut off from the line by that man Odenyi, Faraj Odenyi. You probably are more accustomed to seeing his other brother, Jacob.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have a brother?
I think he has a brother in Leopards.
Geoffrey Odenyi.
Yes.
Are they twins, Jacob?
Well, I'm not very sure. I'll gather that information and let you know in a while.
Okay. They bear a very striking resemblance anyway. Out on the right side for the Sharks, but this one goes directly to the goalkeeper. It comes from the man we're expecting a lot from, Duke Abuya. He's showed his class previously, and so in most recent times there's been demand on him to, you know, repeat that same class, Jacob.
Well, you're right. As Tusker tried to launch an attack through Majak.
This is going to be a throw-in for the Tusker FC side. Oh, they decided to play it all the way back to Roger Zaloro. I think the referee said something could have happened here. Could have taken the entire impact of that ball. And this was Duke Abuya's attempt from the right side, but it went directly to the goalkeeper. He tried to cross it in. And I think hit it with the inside of his foot, but directing it to the goalkeeper. Coach William Maluya. He's the man to me, Jacob, who has had a most successful transition in football in Kenya recently. Talking about the team manager. the coach William Muluya, who was previously a team manager at Tusker FC, wasn't he? Or was it at Madari?
Madari.
Oh, at Madari United.
Yes.
And he transited from TM
to a coach.
Successful coach for that matter.
Well, if you talk about Muluya from that perspective, what about Mourinho, who was a translator?
That's a different perspective. Here's a cross, whereas off his line. But he managed to get a touch on it, so then it's going to be given out. I think the referee says there was a foul as well. Madoya's conspicuously staying behind the defenders. And he might be the one who has been singled out for that foul. Issuing instructions on the field. Michael Madoya equally made a good transition from the Zoo Kericho side to the Tusker FC side. Was little known when he burst into the scene as the most valuable player. Well, we've recently seen a preference for him by the coach, Robert Matano. A little bit of a punch trying to get the Tusker FC side to move further up. That would have been a push by Jack. He's quite tall, so his hands are equally long, but he works very quickly with them. Look at his hands. There it is. Yes. Very quick push that gets Omoto off his line. Majak could easily argue that he wanted to
get the ball.
Yeah, and he didn't want Omoto to bump into him, but it's a foul anyway, so free kick has been given to the Shark side. It's down to the left side, and he's stayed onside, looking for a left foot cross. A little bit too low, not too weighty as well. Very easily cut off as the Sharks again look for a build-up on the left side. They seem to be having the space on that side. So the question is whether Mazembe will be able to take advantage of what he's getting from that left side to use it effectively. Well, the backline of the Tusker FC side has stayed very solid. It's going to be a foul. No, but Tila Omoto not very happy with it. I thought he was also transiting Jacob into the technical bench at some point, was it? No.
For him, he still have years to play.
He's got years to
play.
Very,
very experienced man. He's played for FC Leopards Bandari. Now he's back at Sharks where he started his football career.
It's always a good feeling to be home, Jacob, so...
They say home is where you belong.
I have a friend who insists that home is where your clothes are. So if you keep your clothes at Bandari, that's where home is, temporarily. Here is Majaka. He's found a home here in Kenya, but we understand he's soon shifting. It's a rumor, according to Jacob Gosmole. And a rumor from Jacob to me is 60% almost the truth. So he might just be finding a home again in this little window that will be coming up. You may have seen the information that there could be a break after the 13th, right up to the 16th of January in the Kenyan Premier League. And you may be wondering why, but if you remember that the league has gone 3 seasons continuously, non-stop, then you know that there's a little bit of fatigue as well in the players, Jacob.
Well, there is, and also the change in terms of FIFA calendar, because this is the first time that the Kenya Premier League is being played under the FIFA calendar.
Good little touch to try and get Mazembe running on the other side. Doesn't get to it as well. There's obviously very many advantages playing in the FIFA calendar, Jacob. And I think in the short time that Kenya has adjusted to the FIFA calendar, we've seen a very high number of players transition to the paid ranks and successfully staying there. Because previously the transitions, when the league in Kenya ended, which was always mid-season in another place, they go to the second leg, very competitive in that side, and then they don't finish, they come back, they're tired.
I know.
But now we've seen players successfully making that transition.
Well, it's a good thing that every country is trying to adhere to the FIFA calendar, because what it means is all footballers, when they're on a break, everybody is on a break. When you're back to active football, everybody is playing.
Yep. You cannot put up your best performance if you go for a trial, because you will have been resting, same as the others. I got a little bit worried a couple of years back when Kenyan players were not making it to the end of the league in Tanzania. They came from here in December. They go there when it is second season. They finish one season, they're tired. But Jack out on the right side, cuts a lovely 45. That's the one that is always called an enticing one. Ochieng tries to get it into the net. He gets himself into the net instead. And the ball passing onto this side. Can the Sharks take advantage and go for a quick break? They've got only one man, Rogers Aloro here. That's directly into the hands of the goalkeeper, coming from
Kevington Machika, the youngster on that Kariobangi Sharks. But this missed by Sydney.
Oh, but Jack really sliced it nice. Sydney Ochieng just arriving a shade later. He's in the net himself.
So is it a goal or not a goal?
Oh, well, the ball must be in the net, not the player. The ball must be in the net. This is slightly different to fishing, where the fish must be in the net. Here it is the ball that must be in the net, Jacob. Okay. But the Shark side are finding their rhythm now. Good ball out on the right side. Has he lost his footing? Oh, he did, yes. Oh, Masaba couldn't keep his footing.
We talked about the slippery pitch.
Yep. Julius Masaba was on the right end of a good cross. Here's another one down on the right side to Duke Kabuya now. It's closest to goal. Pumps a low one. Cut off by Eugene Asike. This is going to be a throw-in.
A good defensive play here by Eugene Asike. Look at the timing. He knew Duke was just going to center that ball in the prime target area, but look at his experience.
Yep, I think you're very right. You noted that very well. Asike doesn't run in front of the goalkeeper to cut off Duke Kabuya. He looks behind him and sees the other player and remains with that player, knowing that now Duke will be forced to either shoot directly or the cross will be null and void. And that works very well, doesn't it?
Well, it does for the Tusker side. Talking about experience.
This is the Tusker side when they went in earlier with Majak slicing it from the side. Ochieng's approaching, but slightly late here. Doesn't get onto that ball.
We talk about the speed of the ball in a wet pitch. I think that's a very good example of a player coming in late and the ball traveling faster than the player.
Yep.
Player.
Ball traveling a little bit faster than was expected. They're commanding 58% ball possession, Jacob. Is that good enough for them to be able to get a good game going?
Well, the possession is good, but only if it is progressive and also looking for a goal, because I've seen teams possessing for the sake of possessing. I mean, you need to also turn that possession into something positive.
It's picked up by Tusker again, back into the midfield. Then good flip gets to Madoya, and another touch then sets off a run. Here is a shot. Oh, it's going to be a foul just at the edge of the box here. So a yellow card, yes, for that clipping, and it comes from Patila Omoto. Knew exactly how dangerous that was in terms of positioning.
What a pass to Sydney.
Yeah, there. In other places, that would be harshly penalized, more harshly than at the moment, because it's a shot. You would look at it as a goal-scoring opportunity by Sydney Ochieng, and Patila clips in there, Jacob.
Well, White, he wasn't sent off. There was a player also recovering behind Patila Omoto, so he wasn't the last player on that pitch. So, and that's why he gets a yellow. If he was alone and Sydney was on the face of goal, then things should have been different here.
So the yellow card is merited.
Yeah, it is for sure.
All right. Free kick has been given to the Tusker FC side. We've always said that Tusker were great on set pieces. This one bangs onto Buire, comes back onto the wall, and then ultimately Buire recovers to pick it up. Quick reaction from Buire, quick reaction from Sydney as well. But the defenders did well. Yep, I think the goalkeeper did a better reaction here than everybody else, Jacob.
Very good reaction by Buire on that one.
As the captain of the side, Eric Juma, was trying to clear that out. He inadvertently hit it on his on one of his defenders. But the goalkeeper recovers quickly and picks it up. That's the scoreline. At the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani, having played 21 minutes in this game here of the two Premier League sides, just before the small break in the Kenyan Premier League. Well, Sydney, the man who's being relied on for goals now in the absence of Timothy Otieno, who has travelled with the Harambee Stars for the Sekafa Championships in Uganda. It's going to be a corner. Very clever way in trying to get a touch onto that ball. Hits it on Eugene Asike, occasioning a corner. Eugene was shielding it as well to try and get it out for a goal kick. So 2 corners only in this game. And both are for the Sharks. The first one was taken almost as a short corner and very low as well. I mean, wasn't lifted into the box. This second one is lifted high. Enough men trying to go for it. Ultimately, a big header sends it out, picked up by Duke Abuya. Trying to play with Mazembe on the left side. Nice little pick up by Sidney Ucheng, who's everywhere, and then sets it up at the front. It comes on to Majak on the left side. On his left foot. Well, he was in a difficult angle as well, but Majak certainly makes something out of it. Banging it against his goalkeeper. Rather banging it against the goalkeeper, Brand Bwire.
A very good run here by Tusker. Look at the urgency, look at that killer pass, and then there's no hesitation. Tusker reaching in good time, and you have to give it out to Bwire. He covered the near post well to parry it for a corner.
Oh, he spotted that very well as well. So it's a corner for the Tusker FC side. Majak says, put it up here. This guy is not my height. That's what he seems to be saying. Majak seems to be saying, look at the person marking me. And a quick turn by him. He intended earlier on to push it to the front, then he quickly backtracks and plays it with his defender. Patila starting a build-up for the Shark side. It doesn't go through for the intended Muchika on the right side. There he goes off the field of play. They've sized each other now, Jacob, for 24 minutes.
Well, I'll tell you, there's a lot of transition in this one, and most of the play is concentrated in that midfield position. We have seen at least Tusker come close two or more times. For Sharks, they have the possession. Maybe this time they've got to break it.
A clean tackle, says the referee, as Kevin Muchika had moved in to pick up that ball. Now he leaves Abuya out on the right side. Oh, that was a good, clever click, back heel as well. But that tackle was very clever as well. No foul. Oh, this one goes over to the goalkeeper. But the Sharks are now inching closer, Jacob.
Well, Tusker pushing it on the right side here. That first touch was very important for Majak. He was already off target, but you could see trying to swing it in the near post.
For a man of his height, he really had to work on the balance first and then swing himself back in that direction. It would be kudos for him that he got the target. This is playing back to the goalkeeper. Robert Moya then pushes it into the midfield. Madoya ultimately gets himself onto the ball as well. Chests it down for Majak. There was going to be some very good youthfulness in this game, Jacob, from both sides.
Yeah, Tusker, they have Ngesa playing on that right side.
That's a cross that is easily cut off by Geoffrey Lemu. Starts to build it up in the midfield. Masaba is the man they were relying on, but Tusker has picked it up as well. The battle in the midfield is being controlled mostly by Tusker, but I can tell you that's where the battle is, because the Shark side are equally having a very good build-up in that midfield, and they're not in a rush onto the sides. They're trying to, have a 1-2-3 before they decide where they're going, Jacob.
Well, you can say it's a 50-50 game so far, but Tusker creating more opportunities. The latest one by Majak here, but a very hawk-eyed Bwire just pushing it for a corner.
Oh, it's a wonder Majak got onto that one and on target from his left foot. It's no wonder then he's in the radar of scouts. So let me put it the other way around. It's no wonder there are rumors about him going to play somewhere else, Jacob.
Oh, yes.
Those rumors are the ones that we should be thinking about most.
And it's a good thing, for players to move to go to more lucrative leagues. And that's how you know your league is also developing.
Yep, that's the man we're talking about, Majak. Chipping it, trying to get Madoya running on the other side. I think it's going to be very difficult to make a decision on that because Madoya himself was trying to shield the ball away from all the defenders. The defenders are trying to shield him from the ball, but no one, everyone being very careful not to touch the other. Tusker are on the comeback, trying to hit Majak on the left side. And I asked this question to the coach, Jacob.
Yes.
Majak, Madoya, and Sydney. Who are you relying on?
What did
he
he
said?
say?
He said he's got all of them on the field. If it's not Majak, it's going to be Madoya, it's going to be Sydney. And that's exactly what is happening at the moment.
Well, I think it's a good thing to have different players that you depend on in terms of scoring goals. And he's talked about that. Majak, that's the most dangerous striker on that side. Madoya now is another one.
Through ball down on the right side. The flag has stayed down just a little bit too fast. Coming for Luke Namanda, a man who we know usually has devastating speed. He should have been offside, Jacob. He went off just a little bit too early. Here is Madoya. Oh, yeah, he flung himself in front there, Jacob, didn't he?
Well, he did, but look at that. That could be passed for dangerous play. And Tusker would be awarded a penalty for that.
Oh, in those instances, we always say that you and I, Jacob, can see it twice or 3 times. The referee saw it only once. Don't tell me about the VAR.
Well, our Hawkeye cameras are the VAR for us.
We are the VAR.
We can watch it 2 or 3 times.
Yep. Yeah, I would have passed for dangerous play, yes, because of a high boot. But then he didn't have possession at that moment as well. So I'm still just trying to control it. But that's you and me talking. Referee has already ruled it to not have been any dangerous. But Jack will pick this one up, getting the better of the captain, Eric Juma. Oh, just charged off that ball. Body checked rather off that ball. Picked up in the midfield again by Julius Masaba. This should be Mazembe that they're playing with on that left side. He's making it obvious that he wants to make a switch play. That would have been very legible. And the Sharks forced to backtrack. This is very uncharacteristic of the Shark we know in the deep seas, Jacob.
Well, you're right,
Bernard. Once they're focused, they swim at speed and get what they want. They never come back.
Well, the only thing that's lacking here is the water.
Yeah, there is water on the field. But probably not enough.
It's called for offside.
Yeah. Yeah, stories of Sharks have been very, well, I'm talking about the Sharks in the seas. You know about Jaws, don't you? The
yes,
movie.
I do.
Yeah, it made the whole world afraid of Sharks. Very, very afraid. This is headed back by Eric Juma for the Kariobangi Sharks. Namanda puts his foot to it. I think he's changed places with Majak, who's moved on to the right side, and Namanda has turned on to the left side now. Oh, this one, this flag has stayed down. This was certainly the one that was going to be put into the net, but now you blame it on the field. As he loses his left foot, here it is again. Well set for a strike-it goal. The ball develops a mind of its own, going on to the other side. Sydney as well misses it, loses his footing as well. You can't blame him, Jacob.
No, you don't blame Sydney.
Here it is again. The ball bounces awkwardly.
And then look at that slippery pitch, Jen skids, and that gets him out of position. Sydney Ochieng, the second opportunity that he has had for Tusker. The first one, the ball was very fast. This one, the weather conditions, of course, letting him down.
This is going to be a handball on Duke Kabuya. Matano not very happy about the fact that they've missed a chance there, but surely you can't blame Sydney for that. Should this be a handball, Jacob? The hand was in a natural position.
It will not pass for handball.
Roger Zalora will pick it up for the Tusker FC side. The scoreline is at 0-0. How do you analyze it so far, Jacob? 31 minutes played.
Well, I'll tell you, 50-50. However, Sharks are goal shy. We've not seen them trouble Mboy at the back here. And we are playing in the last quarter of an hour here. Tusker, they've been all positive, trying to get at least an opening. This one denied, of course, by Bwire, and then a good organization by Sharks in terms of back four.
He was going to be a man of interest, the goalkeeper, Brian Bwire. That's why he was one of the impact players, because there was going to be an all-out attack coming from the Tusker FC side, and so it was expected that he'll put up a performance that will be able to stop them.
The Lion, very emotional man.
Is he roaring now?
Yes, he's roaring.
Oh,
I mean,
that's the roaring. Okay.
He's roaring to his charges. It was a goal, I think.
Yeah, he knows that time is quickly ticking by. And in a game like this, you concede first, you might as well be the one backpedaling. A foul here that will be given to the Shark side. There was another injury earlier on, but the referee doesn't think that one was merited. But this one on Julius Masaba will be penalized. Here it is again. Yeah, Patila Moto was involved in that one, but this ends up hurting Julius Masaba more. Comes from Humphrey Mieno, and that's the one that the referee calls for. Out to the right side. Professional foul, you would say. Very well noticed by the referee. Rogers Aloro quickly brings down Kevin Tom Muchika, even before he gets onto that ball. So the referee spots him quickly and gives him a yellow card for it. I wonder what Aloro is complaining about. You be the judge. Okay, that's after he's already committed the foul. But you know, he just noticed that the player Muchika was gonna get onto that ball, so he quickly just brought him down before he starts the run for that ball. And players do a lot of that. It's just that the referees do a lot of sporting of that as well, and so he has to be carded. Here it is again. Yep. You know, running diagonally over his feet to make sure that he can't quite take off, and cutting him down. So it's a foul then to the Sharks. Not too far off from the penalty box, and three men organizing how to take it. I think they've left it to Patila Omoto. Oh, it's not Patila. But this one goes to the left-hand side of the goalkeeper from James Mazembe.
Well,
good touch, eh?
Good set piece here by Mazembe, but a hawk-eyed Mboya again comes to the rescue of Tusker.
It just causes visual confusion even to commentators. I mean,
No,
in terms of how it's moving.
And that's the trick, actually, because if you're not a sharp keeper, then that's going to beat you.
Boya went down almost in a slow motion, having seen it. You know, unfortunately, once you've committed yourself going down on that side, you must. And then you wait for the reaction. So he parried it out for a corner for the Shark side. A left-foot-in swinger. Oh, well, it's a slow one then. Giving a chance for a left foot. An attempt to lift it by James Mazembe. Doesn't bear fruits. But Boya doesn't cut it out either. It goes up for a corner. Well, Mazembe tried to bring in a high cross there. The last touch was by Tusker. That's why Mboya made all the efforts to keep it back in play. So it's going to be a corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yellow jerseys in there. Another short one again from the Shark side. A good turn here, looking for a 45. Normally you bring it straight towards the penalty area, Jacob. That's where the the attacking, the striker is usually going to, coming from the other side.
Yes. Well, they have a plan, and you can see clearly he was trying to get Mazembe, Kevin Machika on that one.
Kevin Tobuchika is the man who should have been going for that. Majak here gracefully accepting the fact that he has been beaten to that ball. He was on a full run. He's cut out in the box, but you see the ball is the one that has been played out here.
Well, Majak knows he can't get the ball, and I think he clearly wanted to force for a corner, and he's got it.
I think he's lucky to get that corner, in my opinion. I think he had the last touch.
Really?
We'll see it again later on, yes, because Oudu removed it and then it hit on Majak again. A quick eye would be able to spot that. But Majak gets a corner for the Tusker FC side. Guira is in there, and it's being shielded by 3 yellow jerseys. I often hear coaches saying, who's holding the post? Here is a header! It's just been cleared off the line, but has it been cleared off the line or inside the line? Another big hit on that ball sends it out for a corner. Could this have cleared the line, Jacob? We'll have to see it again.
See it again myself too. And that is...
The referee says it's a corner. And I know you're waiting for the VAR. No, it won't come, not from this side of the world, not yet. Otherwise, in Europe at the moment, we would have been calling for the VAR and waiting to see what the VAR says. Was the ball cleared off the line or not? But again, we have to start at the beginning. Was it a corner or not? Here is the corner taken. Oh, this is going to go off the field of play then. There was a foul in there as well. I don't know which way the referee is going to be awarding it. As the players get a little bit unhappy at that tassel. They know each other very well. They play in the same backyards, these guys. Oh. Now this is going to be trouble for Lemu here. For lashing out. I think he's being admonished by his captain, who's asking him, what are you doing? Because you could very easily be red carded. He kicked out, you know. And he shouldn't do that because that would be retaliation.
Exactly, and I think the referee was close there, so let's see what happens.
That's what the captain is telling him on the left-hand corner. I think the ref will let it pass, but he'd better take the admonishing from the captain very seriously. Oh, the referee says, come here, the three of you.
And he's very clear, categorical in his resolve on this one. I think a yellow, if not red, will be in the offing.
There's something going to happen here. Something going to happen here. With referee Mr. Waweru being very categorical. He tells the captains to move out of here, tells Asike to move out. That's a yellow card. That's a yellow card for Eugene Asike as well. They probably were involved in a little bit of a scuffle there. They should be lucky it's just a yellow card, Jacob.
Yes.
For Lemu, he should be very lucky. He should be happy that that's all that happened there. Oh, Asike, I think, was trying to lash out, but then he went to the wrong person.
That's a very unbecoming behavior from
And
Lemu.
I think Majak himself was probably a little bit injured in that. And everybody goes in there. Look at Lemu. He's hitting out. Actually, Asike is restraining him.
Yeah, he's trying to stop him from getting crazy again. Well, yellow card to three players. Lemu. We have Majak on yellow, and then we have Eugene Asike on yellow.
Majak is also on yellow.
Yes, he was yellow carded. Three players have been yellow carded by the referee.
Well, what drama then in this game. Eugene as well for the initial incident. But we still haven't gotten over whether that ball cleared the line. We haven't gotten over whether it was a corner in the first place. Namanda trying to use his speed on the left side. He's been cut out. And Eric Juma, the captain, is making his move very well intended on the right side. That's a good tackle by Madoya. Gets the ball out for a throw-in. Well, sometimes you wonder, Jacob, those the anger of volcanic proportions so suddenly in there. Yet it looked like a very calm game. Everybody's in control of what they're doing.
Well, football can change within a minute. A lot do happen here as Sharks try to open the scores here.
Mazembe! Oh, this one is pushed into the net after Mazembe's shot has been stopped. Ultimately, the second touch on that ball puts it into the net. The celebration coming from Kevin Tobuchika. He beats Alora to it. The Sharks take the lead here.
Well, he has rewarded the coach Mluya for having faith in the youngster Machuka. Kevin Ton scored the opener here, but of course Mboya spilling the first shot, and Kevin Machuka was in very good timing there. Look at what happened in this one.
Well, the run came from the midfield from Patila. Good ball down to Mazembe on the left side. The shot is blocked. Mboya either should have pushed that shot away or should have, held it in his hands.
He's fully responsible for that spill. And you play back the ball into the path of Machika. What did you expect? I mean, Mboya should have held the ball or parried it very far away. Look at that.
Kevin Tom Machika is a beneficiary of what came from the hands of Robert Mboya, who literally just placed it in the path of the youngster. And he celebrates it in style.
Well, Machika does well to open the scores here, but a lot of questions, of course, will be asked about Mboya's reaction on that shot.
Well, from the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani. Kariobangi Sharks 1 and Tusker FC 0.
I love the ease on which the referee is taking, even talking to these players. He's so calm, I mean, and he knows his stuff. He knows what to do. I think Mboya was injured by that powerful shot. He couldn't hold it. I think he has a problem with his palm.
Here is the one they are complaining about. Again, very difficult to determine whether it was actually inside the net or not.
Well, unless, of course, of course.
Yeah, unless the director becomes nice to us, Jacob, and freezes it a bit. Here it goes. Well, he's got his boots just behind the line, the captain of his side, but that doesn't mean that his feet couldn't have pushed the ball out there. So I think in such an incident, we give the benefit of doubt to the referee for the decision that he made.
Well,
there it is again.
You can't say if the whole of the ball was inside.
Yep, unless you see it on the line. And Mieno, for some reason, will not celebrate this one. And because we've had so much going on from that time, the Sharks have even scored on this other side. You couldn't now take that review for anything in this game so far.
1-0 in the scoreline here at the Moi International Sports Complex, Kasarani. The youngster Kevington Machika opening the scores for Kariobangi Sharks.
And with a powerful strike as well on the rebound. Remember what we said earlier on, Jacob? A 45 from the left side usually comes to where the penalty spot is. And that's where actually Kevington Machika was coming from to meet that rebound. Can Tusker reply to this, or will the Sharks now be on the roll? Earlier on, he said very nicely that any team that scores a goal at this moment will have their tails up.
Definitely, and Sharks have deserved that goal actually, because they had put Tusker under too much pressure just before the goal came in. It was all Sharks.
Oh, Majak was getting close to this one. His first touch seemed to have given it to him, but he didn't go for a second touch. Here it is again. Majak has the first touch. Maybe he didn't think it would get to him. Picked up by Buere. And that leaves the scoreline the same way. At 1-0 for the Shark side, who are commanding 57% ball possession at the moment. He's out of the field of play. Yeah, we didn't tell. Like to be Majak at a time like this when everybody knows you're going to make a big move soon. So everybody then is watching you very intently, including your new employers. Sometimes asking themselves whether they've got the right man for the job. But work is work. The HR consultants will tell you that it's good to serve your notice. Unless, of course, someone offers to buy off your notice. But it's always good to say goodbye in a good way. And as per the contractual obligations. Mazembe, a shot trying to chip Mboya, but he's slightly over the bar, higher up than was expected. 3 minutes of added time, Jacob. What do you make of this game so far?
Well, they say the last 5 minutes of a game is when actually goals are scored, and this has proved that. And I think Sharks have just proven that, and I think Tusker now, they don't have much time. 3 minutes could be not a lot of time in the game of football, but I think Sharks are on top as we go into the break here.
And we are playing 3 minutes of added time then. Tusker picking it up from the midfield with Mieno playing the defensive midfield role. Madoya is the one who's assisting in there. You can see it even in Mazembe's demeanor at the moment, in the way he's running, the way he's handling the ball. You can see it in the Sharks' demeanor, that they now know they've got an edge here.
Amanda trying to make the last minute effort for Tusker.
This is Majak, he's in the offside position. The assistant will catch him in that position as well. And so it's going to be a free kick for the Kariobangi Sharks side. If it was about the money, Jacob, and if you're saying they got some sponsorship, then maybe that money is now a motivator in this game.
I say it's normally a very thin line, and nobody knows it better than Matano. Also, he's been involved in teams that at one time had financial constraints, so he understands both sides of the coin.
Yeah, but it's a very long time since we ever heard about Tusker being in financial constraints, Jacob. So
Well, I don't say when he was coaching Tusker, while he was coaching other teams.
Yeah, while coaching other teams. No, I'm just saying that Tusker is probably
well managed, I would call it.
Yeah, it is, and you never hear about these stories, which is a good thing. This was a little bit of a sizzler, but Mboya waves it away out of the field of play for a goal kick. It's going to be for the Tusker FC side.
Well, that's Peter Oda coming in so close. But unable check here.
Just a couple of seconds remaining. What instructions do you give players when you've got like 30 seconds remaining?
Better I'll tell you. One time I had the former coach, Renard Fabish of Kenya, used to say, we are just clowns behaving differently on that touchline.
Just clowns?
Yes. He termed it as a clownish kind of behavior from some coaches, but actually it's very difficult to push in information at this time of the game where the final whistle already has gone.
Yep, I think that was just the last ditch effort. It was also offside. 2 Tusker players, including Luke Namanda and Majak, caught in that trap. And yes, it's halftime at the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani. Tusker and Kariobangi Sharks squaring it out, with the Sharks taking the lead in the 40th minute. A goal by Kevin Tom Machika. A rebound off the goalkeeper from a spillage by Robin Boyer is the one that has given the Sharks the lead. So the Tusker side will have to rejuvenate, reorganize, and come back into the second half to try and chase the game, while the Sharks side will come in to try and extend the lead that they have and try and get the better of the Tusker FC side. Obviously, there was a little bit of an unsure situation there. I think this is clear off the line, Jacob. In my estimation, I think the player has got his boots, yes, behind the line. He's standing on the line at the moment. Watch the number 5. That's the captain of the side, Eric Juma. He's standing on the line. His feet are now behind the line. But you know, the kick out, is it from behind the line or from the other side of the line?
You can never judge if the whole of the ball was already had crossed the line. So it's very big question marks on that one. But at the Moi International Sports Complex, Kasarani, Kariobangi Sharks 1, Tusker 0.
If you think this is just a game, you're wrong. Prestige, the greatest show on earth, La Liga transcends society. La Liga is equality, innovation, responsibility. La Liga is the future. La Liga is so much more. It's a different way of seeing the world.
Well then, at the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani, Kariobangi Sharks are squaring it out with the Tusker FC side. At the halftime, the Sharks side take a lead in the 40th minute of the game, but a game that looked very deadlocked, looked very technical as well in the slippery conditions of the field here at the stadium. Earlier on, of course, they were testing one another, playing from conversely different positions on the log. Tusker FC in position 2 and the Kariobangi Sharks down a second last on the log in the absence of the Sodi Sugar results. The question was, who's going to take the 3 points from this one? So the ball percentage possession gives you a high one for the Shark side at 55. Now that means they've reduced it on the Tusker side at 45. There were 13 shots altogether, but only 8 were on target. And they resulted into 4 corners for Kariobangi Sharks and 3 for the Tusker FC side. We will not take much about the fouls, but the Tusker FC side, Katsi of Madoya, and in the last instance Majak as well, have been caught in the trap, in the offside trap, 4 times. Kariobangi Sharks just once. So one of those shots coming from the Kariobangi Sharks has resulted into a goal, and that's the one that came from Kevin Tom Machika. The rebound coming off the push that was originally from the man with the name of a Congolese band, James Mazembe. So that's the story in terms of the numbers. That's the story in terms of the figures as well. Question is then, is it going to change in the second half? Jacob, does that reflect the game in your opinion? Does it reflect it?
Well, it does in terms of numbers, but a lot has happened in the game. Tusker starting on the offensive in the first few minutes of this game. They had an opportunity here, and this is where Brian Bwire's reaction stopped Sydney from getting that ball.
And Humphrey Mieno couldn't react on time as well to go to it after that very fast shot. This one that was picked up by Bwire. He stretches himself to the maximum to reach where Mieno is. Mieno doesn't stretch to get there ahead of him.
Well, Mieno doesn't have that speed in terms of reaction speed. It was so slow. Bwire had a better reaction, and that's why he denied Mieno. While Sharks kept on knocking, they had the opportunities at goal. Very few. Duke Abuya bringing in the cross, but directly to Mboya in that Tusker's goal. Well, good 1-2 here. And Duke Abuya just couldn't hit his marker, his striker in Machika. But they have a good combination play here with Julius Masaba. Mboya doing well to stand his ground here. Julius Sabuya, he had a very good tournament in Tanzania. He's been in Yanga's radar. Then Tusker kept on pushing for a fast goal. This was the best move. Majak, look at that cross. Sydney coming in a little bit late in that one, because you have to marvel at Majak's speed on that right, and then his cross was very calculated. Sydney just thinking, well, this should have been an opener here. What a miss by Sydney Ochieng.
Yeah, I think we said it earlier, Jacob, that this ball is moving a little bit faster because of the slippery conditions, and then so Sydney arrived slightly later. But here, he was clipped from behind by the captain of the side, I think. No, by Patila Omoto, I think. And he was yellow carded here. That's very dangerous, you know.
He's very lucky in such incidences because of dangerous play. He would have gotten a red card directly.
Yeah, this one was hit off the goalkeeper again. Bwire has been outstanding in the goal for the Shark side.
Well, I tell you, he's a player that was injured previously. I think that is why they were not having that cover in goal. He's just come back. I think this is maybe his first game after that injury. But doing well to stand his ground in that one.
He's come into very sharp focus in today's game, and whether he can salvage the Shark side from this. And yes, he has been good altogether. So the Tusker FC side decided to go for a quick run. Look, Namanda changing it down to Majak here. And Majak on his left foot shot hits the target, but Bwire stands tall as well to be able to deny them a chance here. But, you know, the best part of the action is, I think, the shot on Majak's left foot, Jacob.
And it was directed towards goal. If it's not Bwire with this, the story would be very different. It was in a very tight angle. But look at how he's able to turn from a tight angle to just direct it to goal.
This again was left for Sydney Ochieng. Here the field played havoc on Sydney. Releases himself on time. The ball takes an unnatural bounce. He's running forward. The ball bounces backwards. He can't stop on time because it's slippery as well. Doesn't get his foot onto it. Bwire is very calm and collected. Recovers quickly to pick up this loose ball.
Well, I think if you have to summarize it for Tusker, it has been a first half of Sydney Ochieng's misses.
This was a well-taken free kick, this one, wasn't it, Jacob?
Well executed, but Mboya this time very, very much alert. You would be confused and you might not have the vision of the ball, but Mboya kept his eyes on the ball.
You don't even know who's going to take that free kick. I think that's what Mazembe was counting on. Ultimately, despite this header is the one that they have been challenging for. And Humphrey Mieno should have been turning in time to either put the ball in the net other than appeal too much. We have said before, from where we are, we cannot make out whether the whole ball crossed the line. Here it is again. You be the judge of that. The action happened so quickly. The captain of the side was inside the net. His boots are inside the net, but it doesn't mean that he can't kick out and his foot will be outside. Here it is again.
Well, the only question is, we cannot deduce from here if the whole of the ball crossed the goal line, because that would make it a goal. But from even all those replays, you cannot be certain that the whole of the ball crossed the line.
Yep, and he also, you know, lifts his foot. That means that it's bent a bit, which means part of his knee or what would be, you know, ahead
Maybe
of
on
the line.
maybe on
maybe
the
even
line.
ahead on, maybe even ahead of the line.
And
you know.
that means the whole of the ball could
Yeah,
not have
so
crossed
then
the line.
we give them the benefit of doubt. I think it was a good call by the referee. The Tusker FC side were then caught backpedaling, and the Sharks went for a quick break here. Mazembe down on the left side, unleashes a shot. Mboya parries it back, but right into the path of an advancing Kevin Tom Machika. And that has been the climax of the first half. You have to mention that it was lost very easily in the midfield, that ball for the Tusker FC side. Mboya doesn't take that one firmly in his hands, bounces it off a bit. Machika is approaching as a striker, and he knows that he's got to be close there. He was looking for a cross from Mazembe.
Well,
it comes in very nicely, bouncing right in front of him.
I was just watching Machika's run. Look at him. He doesn't give up. He follows through. He was hungry for goal. And when Mboya spilled it, there was nothing else for Machika but to just push it into the net. What a score by the youngster.
Yeah, Roger Zalora looked very frustrated there because he knows he couldn't have turned. He would have tripped him in the box. Look at it again. Get another shot now. That was being released by Oudu from a distance. They know that once you've scored, the goalkeeper is a little bit shaken. You should try again to see whether you're going to get the better of him. This was Namanda trying to get onto that ball. There were just about 3 of them already in the offside, including Majak. So it wasn't going to count anyway. There they are, 3 of them in the offside position, very conspicuously. Namanda the first to try and go to that ball, and that was also at the stroke of half-time. So 40th minute goal by Kevin Tom Machika. The scoreline is 1-0. Here is the substitution list, Jacob. What would you make of it?
Well, I think it's clear that for Tusker, they are missing their top scorer who has gone with the national team, Timothy. And I think that has brought a little bit of the kind of opportunities that have been missed by Sydney. So I think Matano will be thinking about making a change. He has a very experienced George Blackberry Odhiambo on that bench. He might come in. Then in terms of midfield, that is Jackson Macharia. Then Eric Zakayo could be given an opportunity. But for Sharks, I think Muluya is a happy coach going to the halftime break, but he still have a lot of firepower. There is Sydney Lokale, who is also being rumored that he will be leaving the country. And then Harrison Mwendwa, the speedy winger, they might decide to use him in the second half.
If you think this is just a game, you're wrong. Prestige, the greatest show on earth. La Liga transcends society. La Liga is equality, innovation, responsibility. La Liga is the future. La Liga is so much more. It's a different way of seeing the world.
Welcome back to the Moi International Sports Complex, Kasarani, the venue for the KPL encounter between Kariobangi Sharks, who lead Tusker by a solitary goal. Tusker has had more opportunities in front of goal, but I'll tell you, Brian Bwire has made very good saves here. Just seen the president of the Football Kenya Federation, Nick Mwendwa, I think is with the chairman of the Kariobangi Sharks side there, just watching it from the stands. Well, the Sharks are here trying to make a second half reaction so that they don't start the game slow. It's normally the new way of waking up the muscle and the mind just before kickoff, because even with this kind of warm-up, they say that most goals are scored in the first 5 minutes of each half or the last 5 minutes of the game. So this helps for the players to be alert. But still, football is not logic. Tusker, they have their own way of reacting also. They are just beside the Sharks side. David Majak getting ready with their team trainer. They say ta-ta-ta, then you make a short sprint. It's just to wake up the muscle. Eugene Asike, very experienced man in that back four. Or Machika, the youngster who makes the difference in this game.
If you think this is just a game, you're wrong. Prestige, the greatest show on earth. La Liga transcends society. La Liga is equality, innovation, responsibility. La Liga is the future. La Liga is so much more. It's a different way of seeing the world.
Well, we're back here at the Moi International Sports Complex, Kasarani, the venue for the KPL encounter. Kariobangi Sharks, the home team, lead Tusker, the away team, by a solitary goal, scored by the youngster Kevinton Machika, Kenya International under 20. He's actually graduated from the under 17. He has been promoted to the under 20 side. Very, very interesting, and is a very big boost for a youngster to be played by Mluya, and making a very big change here. Well, the second half is here. I'm in the company of Bernardo Tieno to take you through the next 45 minutes here.
Thank you very much, Jacob. You make me feel very, very, very big. But yes, getting you ready to watch the second 45 minutes of this Premier League match here, as Ali Salim Manga and Jacoyo will take you through the Swahili commentary. You can stay with us for the English commentary, and you can also interact with us at the official KPL. That's where our Twitter handle is at. And we can get interactive at that stage. Or you can also leave us a comment at the KenyanPremierLeague.com. That's our Facebook page as well. You obviously sometimes can catch the match there as well. As Tusker come back, a rejuvenated side. Calculated steps coming from Majak would tell you that the pep talk at halftime, Jacob, has told him to bring in the class that he is associated with.
Well, I know Matano during the halftime break when his team is losing, I know what kind of instructions goes out into that dressing room.
You think it's very loud?
Leave alone loud. I mean, he wonders why you are losing, because you created a lot of chances in front of goal. You should be leading.
Do you think bottles fly in there?
Sometimes they do.
Sometimes they do.
Well, I
always wanted to see a bottle that has got wings. But
well, you know, the game between the derby, actually, Stephen Parlock, the Gor Mahia coach, was asked by Toskin what happened in the second half, because Gor Mahia came a different side, and he said, have you heard about bottles flying in the dressing room?
Ah, okay.
So that's one incident.
Ah, okay. So bottles actually do fly. All right, in the dressing room. Someone should get a shot of this one of these days, with some of the things that happen outside of the field. But it's the second half. It's the Kariobangi Sharks who are leading by 1-0. Question is whether or not the Sharks will extend the lead. The update on the other match is Bandari is leading Wazito by 2-0. That's in Baraki.
Well, that is a very good result for Molala so far, because they lost a couple of games. They were not in a very comfortable position, and the last game that they played against Tusker, actually he had he had wet eyes in that game. He wasn't very happy after the game, Malala. So that's a big boost if he's going to gain all the 3 points in that game.
Well, that would prompt me to ask you what happens in the boardrooms as well if Molala had the tears in there. You know, the fans sometimes get a little bit impatient. Majak has been caught in the second offside, and that's why the whistle went at that time. But there's been a lot of talk about, and I don't know if it's true, Jacob, somebody talked about Malala also losing the dressing room. I don't know what's about the dressing room.
Well, there's a lot of stories in KPL or in the Bandari side, but I'll tell you, all that is talk because I spoke to the chief executive officer. He says it's just that they were not able to adjust from continental to local football.
That was a very diplomatic one. The CEO would obviously not tell you, yes, he has lost the dressing room. No, he wouldn't. But yeah, I do trust your word, Jacob. This man not feeling too well. Vincent Gesa. Mazembe earlier on in the 40th minute unleashed a shot that Mboya didn't catch, and then he parried off. Bounced it right in front of Machika, Kevin Tom, for that goal in the 40th minute.
But I'll tell you, for that goal, I just say it's a big blame on Mboya, because how he wanted to catch that ball, I cannot understand. Did he want to parry it away? Did he want to catch it? Because normally in goalkeeping, the basics is simple: body behind the ball, and you put the ball in the porch. So this time, how he blocked it, I think he must have gotten a blushing from
there was body behind the ball. I don't know where the porch went to, because he moved it onto the left side. It's just that he parried it right in the advancing, right in front of an advancing Kevin Tom Machika. And again, Mazembe caught in the offside trap. Fans not happy about that, thinking that shouldn't have been the case. What do you expect in the second half? 9th minute, in the second half of this game. It's offside because there was another player in the offside on the other side.
It's a defense splitting pass. However, there was a player on the other side, a yellow shirt, which was already in an offside position. Sharks have come back strongly, albeit in the few minutes that have been played here, but they show some more pomp in terms of attack here.
A good ball control from Mazembe this time round on both the right and the left foot, as they try to switch the play down onto the other side. It's going to be a change on the Tusker FC side. And Marlon Tangaozi comes into play. Who's the Ugandan replacing? Is it Vincent Gesa?
The injured Vincent Gesa.
So it's defender for defender.
Yes.
Back into the midfield for the Tusker FC side. There's going to be a battle on who controls that midfield. The backflip doesn't quite work out well, but Majak manages to bring it back. Namanda, I think he should calculate his runs, Jacob. He's almost running himself out of space. You can't just run. You've got to run with the ball or run with some style, Jacob.
Well, call it running for running. He needs to know where he's making his run to and at what time. So he needs just better timing.
Well, better organization, building up from behind from the Shark side, now looking for a splitting pass to move forward. Oh, and then there's a loss of footing on the man in the midfield, Julius Masaba. That's the one that actually stops the ball from moving any further. Tangaozi on his first touch on the ball will have to realize that he's got to be fast enough, because he's got a very hard-working Mazembe on that left side. And then he pumps this one up front, trying to get Majak. When he starts a run, Majak goes for the full run.
Well, he has big strides, and that gives him a very big advantage in terms of the number of steps you can take if you are shorter than Majak. He's been caught up again in an offside position.
Is he playing as the out-and-out striker now? Because he's a central striker at the moment.
Well, he is, but he shouldn't be caught offside more than 3 times in the game. It means that when Sharks has the ball, it goes to an up.
Oh, then it might look like the Tusker FC side have tried to take their attention away from Sydney Ocheng. And that's why they have put Majak up at the front. Sydney is playing more from the left side. It's a free kick that will be given to the Tusker FC side. To the Sharks side, I beg your pardon.
Well, they've controlled so far the beginning of the second half. They've been pushing in for a second goal here. Tusker is on the back pedal. Mboya, quite a throw to Namwanda. Very long throw. Very good throw by Mboya here.
You know what's amazing here, Jacob, is that in as much as the Tusker FC side are on the back pedal, it's looking like they are more on the attack. When Sharks come, the attack is fizzling out before it gets to the goalkeeper there. So it's making it look like Mboya, the goalkeeper on the Tusker side, is on holiday, and on this side, Bwire is overworked.
Busy.
Yeah,
that's the story of this game, actually. And the game of football sometimes can be fair, but very unfair, because Tusker has done all the attacking. They've had a lot of action in front of goal, but Sharks got only one, and that makes the difference in this one. I think Sydney Ochieng, I think, has some problems here.
Could have been a body check earlier on, and seems like it went into his hand. There it is, onto his left hand, and he's feeling it on the left side. As the cross was coming, the goalkeeper really got onto that one and sent it back. So we're going to have Sydney then getting a little bit of medical attention here. This one, Namanda was not going to get it. That was easily picked up by Bwire. We got very first time that we are seeing the medical personnel onto the field of play. We've had it very clean right from the beginning. So I am just thinking, and maybe that is what Tusker could be planning. You need some hard-working players here. Jackson Macharia is still on the bench there, and I think he has a way of, shaking things a bit in the midfield for the Tusker FC side.
I get what you mean, Bernard, because he's a very creative player, and at the moment Tusker is playing flat and with very slow midfielders, so they need a midfielder who's a bit pacey, and I think Macharia could bring that kind of change.
Yeah,
Matoya has disappeared in the game completely.
I think you just say, you put it better as a coach. Yeah, I put it on the other way as a commentator to shake it up. But yes, I mean a creative player who can bring Tusker to life at the moment. It's becoming very legible how they're playing, and I think that's why the Shark side is currently sitting pretty and just getting them on their backs. They know that it's going to go out there. It's going to fizzle off. They start off the build-up from that side. Oh, Tusker has got to get some creativity going in the game. I think Matano will be showing his frustration at a time like now. And when he starts making substitutions, then you will know that he's now totally unhappy about the goings-on.
Well, but he's very limited in terms of substitution because he's been forced to make a substitution and planned for through injury of Ngesa. Now I think he's thinking about to either rejig the midfield by bringing one of the players on that bench, maybe Zakayo or Hashim Sempala. He has quite an option.
You know, he's also in a difficult situation, Jacob, because if he has to bring in the midfield, it's going to be a defensive midfielder, because he's going to be caught on the back pedal. This is a little cross coming in from Mazembe that again has been cut off. He must worry about what will happen on his back if he's got an attacking midfielder and another attacking midfielder. It's going to be a card coming up here, Masaba. I think overreacting on this.
Yellow card.
Yeah, that one. He was claiming that he was elbowed, but we all know where the elbow is. It's usually on the hand. His tackle went on the foot, Jacob.
Yeah, you're right. Masaba has been yellow carded, fouling Majak, who's also have a yellow card in the game. I think Tusker is planning to bring Blackberry Odhiambo for Sydney.
Oh, that's him, Giorgio Odhiambo. Now going by the name George Ogutu.
Yes.
Is gonna come into the field. He's been known before as George Blackberry Odhiambo for Gor Mahia. He's also another one who can shake up things, Jacob. He loves to run a lot. He's got moves all the time that leaves their opponents wondering where he is going.
Well, his experience is very vital to Tusker. He also very good in terms of one against one. He can also weave through defenders. So I think that's why Matano has decided to make that change.
I was almost convinced that it was going to be Jackson Macharia in the midfield. But yes, they brought in George Odhiambo. This is out on the left side to Mazembe. He's running diagonally, trying to get this return ball. He's left a little bit late, but he's got speed here. Oh, he'll be pushed off the ball by Eugene Asike. I was just thinking about Eugene Asike, Jacob. He's only played for 2 clubs in this country, hasn't he? For Sofapaka and for Tusker, hasn't he?
Well, I think he's played for KCB.
At KCB at some point, okay. Oh, he's played for the big institutions, big clubs. It's going to be given to the Tusker FC side. I think the game is lighting up at the moment with the introduction of Jojo Diambo. Now you're seeing and hearing a little bit of more instructions coming from the sides, and we possibly will see more runs going up at the front. Eugene Asike. Majak has not been able to get into any of the aerial balls this time around in this game, Jacob.
Well, he's been overwhelmed in terms of height. He has it, but I think Sharks also trained for him. They know what Majak can do. They've tried to mark him in such situation.
Is a throw-in, headed out by Patila Omoto. Majak gets to the end of it. This has been resisted and sent back into the Tusker FC half. If only they can put it on the ground, it will work much better for them. Aloro brings it into the center. Mieno has a touch on it. And big boot by Marlon Tangauzi sends it onto the left side. Namanda brings it right in front of goal with Giorgio Diambo challenging for it, but Bure gets there ahead of everybody else.
Well, I like Bure's reaction in that Kariobangi Sharks goal. Why not for him? I think the story will be a bit different.
He's been standing tall there. He's probably the best defender they've had this afternoon.
Very true.
Because of what he has had to stop going in that direction. So you may also have pointed it out very clearly that they were missing him in that goal.
Of course.
That accounts for the number of goals that they were conceding.
Well, they have an average of 2 goals per game conceded in the last 5 games, and that's not a very good record for a team like Sharks.
Well, the KCB one was a routing, wasn't it?
Well, 5-2 was the final score, where I had that they had a very serious press down after that game.
Mazembe, he's got speed and he's got Tangawizi with him now. Can he get the better of him? Well, manages to go past him on his left foot and still enjoys keeping possession. Now that's self-belief, Jacob, and the youngster has got it from the way he's been playing, even in the first half. Sharks looking for a chance for a shot towards goal. This one's picked up by Mboya, but a hard shot indeed coming from the defense, and that's what the chairman is saying. That's what I was telling you about. I think he's telling the patron is telling the president. I was telling you about those kind of shots.
Yeah, in fact, Shark has now taken control of this game. We played in the hours. We had the hour mark, and Sharks looking so good. I mean, they have the confidence, they build it from the back. I just don't know what has happened to Tusker. They've clearly disappeared in the last 10 or so minutes from this game.
Maybe we should have the officials also coming to the scene. Because somebody must have told the Sharks that your executive is here. It does buoy the players a bit, doesn't it?
It does, for sure. That's a powerful but direct shot directly to Mboya.
Yeah, is that Patila Omoto? He had a chance to send it down on the right side here, but he decided to go for a direct shot. Didn't trouble Mboya at all. Here is Giorgio running back to his place, Giorgio Diambo. The chairman, the patron, was already on his feet, almost ready to protect a team that is very, very associated with. Tusker with a very quick break there, Jacob. They are also getting their rhythm going now.
Well, they are trying to hit back. You know, they are desperate for a goal, and they know the time is not on their side. But they have to find a better way of beating Mr. Bwire in that Kariobangi Sharks goal. It's a clear offside here.
Giorgio Diambo now going by the name Giorgio Guti. I think we've got a player on the ground, even though substitution is in the offing as well for the Tusker FC side. I think there's also a player down on the ground who's being looked at.
Oh, they're bringing in Eric Zakayo from
Adoya.
Adoya. Was the last substitution for Tusker, I guess.
Is it? No, they still have one more.
Well, no, they have George Blackberry coming in.
Oh, yes.
George Tangawizi came in, and then now with Zakayo, they've finished their
substitutions.
Yes.
Who's Zakayo? You probably have more information about
Well,
him.
Zakayo is a boy who has been promoted from the youth side of Tusker. It's a good thing to give opportunity to your youth side or your academy. So I would call him an academy player.
I tell you, it's not only Tusker that has promoted players from the academy. A good friend of mine and a neighbor has been complaining that his team is playing with academy players only. And his team is in Europe. Well, these ones need no promotion. They don't come from any academy. They come to support the team.
Oh,
At
Sharks.
the stadium, yeah. Oh, the referee has got his card up for something. And he tells the captain, get out of here, captain. I need to penalize something here. What did he do?
I love the way the referee is
Taker.
controlling this game. I mean, he's on top of things.
Yeah.
There's no time for any mediocrity from any player here.
Did he feign an injury? Did he refuse to get onto the stretcher? What happened here?
Well, I didn't grasp that, but...
Because he was down injured, and then the medics were on the field, and they took a little time there on the field. Essentially, he would either have been walked off the field of play or carried on the stretcher from the nearest exit.
Well, 7 yellows in this game, 4 for Sharks and 3 for Tusker. We're still playing here, so there might be more cards coming in.
Let's hope we have more goals than the yellows. As the Sharks try to make a move out on the right side. I think the flag probably gives it away as a free kick to the Tusker FC side for an offside. Tusker is working against time. The Sharks are working for expectations. 2-1 in Mombasa at the Mbaraki Club at halftime. Bandari leading Wazito by 2 goals to 1. So Wazito have come back into getting 1 goal back. I think Wazito has been the drama team of the season. Their main supporter, of course, is also their main blogger, and he says it as he feels it, Jacob,
well,
on social media.
Well, money can make you say anything, so we excuse him for that.
So, are you saying we don't have the money because we don't just say anything?
No, it depends.
Okay.
That kind of arrogance don't need to be just an ordinary person in the game of football.
Oh, well, they get a thorough tongue lashing every time they don't get it right, the Wazito side. You'd love to be in Wazito, but you'd hate to be in Wazito as well. It's going out for a throw-in on the right side. Mazembe was already getting there. The cross coming in from Zakayo. Gets a second chance, doesn't lift it high enough. It's pushed out again. This is Marlon Tangauzi. Playing it all the way back to his goalkeeper, Brian Bwire. Robin Boyer, who comes in to support him. They're playing a high line as well, the Tusker FC side.
Well, they're chasing for a goal here, and they cannot...
Here is Zakayo! Oh, talk about having a chance as having just been promoted and getting a good chance for a shot. On the left foot, Jacob, look at this. Very well placed, and he doesn't get it right.
Well, he didn't get the whole of the ball. I think he had a miss kick. Yeah, it was a very feeble one to worry Bwire in that goal.
Oh, miscued totally, Jacob. Feeble doesn't even count there. He didn't give it any power at all.
No.
He just missed it. There was a mound of mud anyway that he chipped from there that also flew in that same direction. That could have slowed him down. In soggy pitches, sometimes that happens. But that's the second time we've seen a player in a very good position with great expectations that doesn't quite deliver it as you expected it. We saw it earlier on with Sydney Ochieng, who's suddenly gotten lost in this game for Tusker FC side. And now as well for Zakayo. It's out on the left side. Well, here is a nice chip for Tusker. Headed out by Geoffrey Lemu. And then good ball by Duke Abuya, who gets a return ball. There's just 3 of them. So a 3-on-3 with a good through ball down on the left side. The goalkeeper is off his line. Mazembe should have touched this one in advance. And then the attempt to chip it past the goalkeeper. Bangs again on a Sharks player. And James Mazembe is actually the one who deflects it back to this other side. Oh, a moment of drama in which you expected some good results coming into this one.
That was very good action here in the last few minutes. He has Boya comes off his line, this time in a very good way. He had a very good timing to stop the Sharks from making a second goal. He actually committed himself for so far, but he got the ball.
He did, he did. I don't want to imagine what would have happened if Mazembe had gotten to that ball, because he's equally fast. The Tusker side are playing a high line, and that's why they're catching the Sharks in the offside trap. Right now, they had already set up Masaba for it. They had also set up Kevin Tom Machika. That's the one they have to watch out for. It's the one that is making the attack stay just, past the halfway mark. Here is Mazembe again. Oh, very fleet-footed, left foot. Manages to pass the ball into a vantage position for a shot. That's a better idea out on the right side. And he's saying, just give me the ball slightly earlier. Masamba is complaining about that.
Yeah, you need to complain, because if you know that you had already a very good open up, it was good. But clearly Mboya coming off his line, look at his timing. And then he makes a very good tackle on that ball. Very good. He went on the barrier to stop it.
Well, he took the entire risk. The goalkeeper pushes this one onto the other side and out for a throw-in. Mboya suddenly took a calculated risk.
Yes, he did, and it paid off.
It did. He must have measured the steps up to there. I was worried about if Mazembe gets to it. On the other side, the coach of the Shark side will be telling Mazembe should have moved a little bit faster. Something's going on this side. I think they're trying to make a change and then they start, or is somebody off the field?
No, it was a set piece that caught Tusker unawares. You didn't see that. There was so many, the yellows, they were deceptive on that corner. They caught Tusker napping.
I think there was suddenly a shot that came off that flew over the bar. But there's also going to be a change. Venida is going to come into play. And he's taking the place of Patila Omoto.
Well, experience for experience here. Venida.
It's very well known, this man,
well,
especially in Tanzania.
Tanzania, the penalty kick, how he celebrated that one.
But it's not the only place where he celebrated that. Even here in Kenya, he's done that as well.
Yeah,
when he takes a penalty and he scores, he makes it look like he's injured his foot and then starts on a very cartoonish walk. Something in between a penguin walk and something else. Here is a cross that comes up. This one has crossed the line. This one, there's absolutely no way that they will change it at all, but it's crossed the line here. I'm not sure whether it's going to be credited to
well, hard work pays here.
To George Odhiambo, Blackberry, or it's going to be credited to somebody else.
Majak was also there.
Because it came from the left side, the cross. Aloro is the one who sends it up. This is Namanda beating his man. Sets it up here. Majak tried first. George Odhiambo was there. I think it's George Odhiambo. And he takes a deflection from one of the defenders.
But look at Namanda. He did well. He left his man for dead. Then he played. He was actually playing to Majak, that ball.
Well, Majak actually has the last touch on that ball just near the goal area.
Yes.
Here it is. Yeah, here.
No,
he doesn't have a chance. So it's George Odhiambo.
It's Blackberry who has scored that one.
I think it's much better to haggle about who it is than whose goal it is. This one is in the net for the Tusker FC side as they level the scores. George Odhiambo will take credit for it in the 69th minute of the game.
Well, Kariobangi Sharks will have to wait again to experience their first 3 points since they got the new sponsorship.
Well, we still have a couple of minutes remaining.
Yes, there's a lot of time playing to be played in this game.
20 minutes.
Yes, there's a lot of time, but they need to work even harder because Tusker, right now, they are the ones who look like they want to score. Majak being caught in the offside position the 4th time in this game.
Well, what drama that we are now catching in this game. It's just as well that now it's bringing in some drama. So Tusker, they will have their tails up, Jacob, won't they?
Well, they have to. I mean, and when you look at how it is going right now, it looks like they are on another gear, clearly from the instruction of the Lion. They have a lot of urgency.
You mean the Lion, Robert Matano?
Yes.
Well, you need to be very specific about it. Otherwise, we might think the instructions are coming from King Lion.
Majak in a good position here. That's Blackberry of Diabo.
And Victor Brandbury again, standing tall in front of goal. But yes, this is the kind of shuffling that we wanted, you know, the shaking up a bit that I was talking about. Jojo Odhiambo does shake the game a bit, forcing Bwire into a diving save and a corner. for the Tusker FC side.
Well, Buire has worked overtime here this afternoon for the Kariobangi Sharks.
This has already been parried off, but Tusker picks it up again. Namanda very accurately sending it back. Here is a good one going towards the goal area, but it doesn't go too far. Buire has it. And he's going to start it for the Sharks side. Just about 18 minutes, 17 and a half, Jacob. What advice would you give the Sharks if you were the coach at this time?
Well, they had started the second half in a very positive note. However, I think Matano's tactical change has rejuvenated the Tusker side in terms of Namwanda with great speed, and then he brought the youngster Zakayo on that right, and that has made a big change for them.
Duke Abuya gets it back into the midfield. He'll get the return ball to Harrison Mwendwa, who's come into the field of play now. Did I tell you that a good Everton legend really loved the way Harrison Mwendwa was playing?
Ah, really?
Yes, he did.
Well, that's very nice.
I watched him twice. Look at
Majak
Majak enjoying himself. And then using his lanky feet to go forward, set it up for Namanda, who then cuts back. Namanda tries to set it up, but he wasn't looking at where he should take it to. Giorgio Diambo was waiting in front of him. This is cut off with all the gusto that comes with it by the defender Geoffrey Lemu. Namanda didn't look at where Giorgio Diambo was. He was trying to set it up for Majak. Lemu steps in there and pushes it out. What a run by Majak. And going over two players.
Well, I just like the way he handled that one.
You know, there's a name for that kind of tackle in the estates when somebody does that to you, you know? When he lobs the ball over you like that, oh man, you're going to be the talk of town today in the negative sense. Namanda then should have seen Giorgio Diambo, who was right here waiting for it. But what a game.
No, it's a very interesting game in the last quarter of an hour here. Jem Nasembe has been substituted by Harrison Mwendwa on that Kariobangi Sharks side.
I think they just brought him in for I think the experience was needed here now. Otherwise, Mazembe was doing very well, in my opinion, on that left side. Here is the corner, parried off by Buire. He was actually dropping into the net. If he hadn't done that, he was dropping right into the net. Big clearance coming out from the Sharks, but they've all moved back into defense. The Tusker FC side is playing half line at the moment, half field if you'd like to see. It's going to be a throw-in.
Well, Matano, the Lion, is there pushing in the instruction.
Look at that corner, Jacob. What's going to drop right
go
in there
inside.
if Buire had not picked it up?
It's a banana kick corner.
Jack was walking his way in there. It's going to be a foul here.
I think another offside. Yeah. I think the fifth one that Majak is finding himself, and I don't think Matano will be pleased with that. Offside number 5, I can be very sure about that, but it's sometimes you wonder, isn't the player able to concentrate?
I'm just not sure what Majak is thinking at that time, by the time he goes into that. But I think it's preferred him as an alternate out-and-out striker. It's very difficult for defenders when you have two of that kind. You've got Giorgio Diambo Blackberry, and now you've got Majak as well. And to mark becomes very difficult. Bodo, who cleared that ball from the area a few minutes ago, is having a difficult time marking the tall, lanky, and very, very creative defender, striker Majak rather. This is a foul. This man already has a yellow card, doesn't he? Eric Juma, no he doesn't. He's a captain. But he's been singled out by the referee here.
Well, you have to marvel at the new substitute for the Tusker side, the youngster.
Yeah, I think the captain is yellow carded.
Yeah.
I was worried about him. I think Patila is the one with the yellow card and was substituted. But this one, he knew that if he leaves him to pass there, then there was going to be problems. And went in, stands up. After Majak cleverly released the ball for Zakayo. That's a stands-up challenge.
Yes.
You once called it double-footed.
Double clutch. It's a double clutch in other areas. We have 14 fouls committed.
You once called it a double-footed tackle. Yes, yes. let's just call them some of the travails we go through in the game, you know, some of the challenges.
Well, a prime position here for Tusker to try to get a second goal in this one.
You know, it would be right to say a two-footed challenge.
Yes,
Two-footed
one
challenge. 1 foot, 2. But 2 feet is the correct English. So a double-footed feet, double foot. I'll try to find it out, Jacob. Double-foot challenge. Double-foot challenge.
Okay.
Double-foot challenge. I don't know. Well, language is dynamic, and it does evolve sometimes. And sometimes language is not necessarily what is written in the books. It's what people are using to communicate. And so that lobbing of the ball over a player in Swahili is called a kanzu. You know, he gets it over you. The young boys at the academy, Jacob, have a name for it as well. I just forget it in English. But we've seen that coming from the Tusker FC side. Mieno ultimately getting himself onto that ball. Jojo Diambo stays down, doesn't challenge for an aerial ball, and that gives him the position. As Tusker now go for it, Zakayo. And I think the flag is up for offside on Majak again.
Well, Tusker needed to know how to place themselves in front of goal. I'm impressed by Zakayo, the youngsters coming in.
Very confident.
Second half.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. 2 of them in the offside. It's not even Majak, but Namanda is also on the offside on that side. That's him.
And Blackberry.
And Blackberry as well.
So the fans are wondering.
Yeah. They chose a very good place to sit in.
Yellow, and they have yellow.
Yeah, they have yellow, you know.
Kariobangi.
So all they needed to do is have someone in black seat with the yellow seats as well.
Yeah.
Then they would have their black and yellow. The Tusker FC side. But, you know, today they were wearing their away colors. So it would have looked more for the Shark side than for the Tusker side. Jack is staking for this one. As Jojo Diambo goes for it. He does shake up the
Pushes for a corner.
He does push up for a corner. That's what this game needed.
Yeah.
Something to shake up, somebody to run around the defenders. And Bodo, like I told you, was having a little bit of a difficulty with Majak. And now he's got also Jojo Diambo to contend with. If it should work, then it should work for the Tusker FC side for that. And for the Shark side, they've got Harrison Mwendwa, who's got the same quality as well of shaking up things. If it was to work for the Sharks, it will work through Harrison Mwendwa.
Well, he's coming. We've not seen his impact so far, but we still have 10 minutes to prove himself.
Aloro and Majak. It's landed in the net. Or has it? Yes. The referee has pointed to the center. And Majak is the one who got the header, but I think it touched somebody else, probably Namanda, before it went into the net.
It came off a player. I just couldn't confirm who, but
Majak
look
had
at
the header.
Majak using his head, his height, and then there was the power behind the ball. The technical application from Majak is what has caused this second goal for Tusker.
Oh, well, the fans on the Tusker FC side certainly show up as well. Here is Majak, heads the ball. Oh,
it comes off Namanda.
Namanda turns, and I think the ball hits him from somewhere else. Yeah, from the clearance, from this clearance.
But it's not handball, it's just hit him on the chest.
On the chest, yes. And so Namanda takes credit for it. Yeah, it hits him on the face, coming from the captain of the side. Eric Juma tries to clear the ball. Hits Luke Namanda on the face, and Namanda, off that deflection, it goes into the net. He'll take credit for it. 80th minute goal for Tusker. We've got a game coming up in 10 minutes, Jacob.
I'm telling you, and Tusker fighting from behind from a goal down. Now they lead by 2-1. We have around 10 minutes. In fact, it's exactly 10 minutes to be played here. And I believe that it will be a mouth-watering 10 minutes here. Now Sharks have to chase the game. Tusker has to maintain their lead and probably look for another goal here.
There's no getting the foot off the accelerator on this one, because Tusker need to maintain or even to increase. Sharks need to level and to try and increase, so they will go full gear as well. It's going to be a throw-in for Tusker FC. Well, those changes by Matano certainly working for his side.
Well, there are two sides of the coin. The president has resigned to his chair. He doesn't understand what has happened to the team. His body language is very different right now. He's resigned. And that body language, if the players were watching him, they would also resign to that fate.
Oh, we hope not. But yes, it deflates you a little bit when that happens. Even as a fan, you get deflated when your team was so close, they've leveled the scores, and then suddenly they go off like that. So So Tusker will still be trying to work with what they've got. Humphrey Mieno shielding it out for a throw-in. It's going to be for the Tusker FC side. This is going to be taken by Marlon Tangawuzi. Trying to play to Zakayo. It was very tightly marked by Duke Abuya, who pushes the ball out for a throw-in. It's going to be for the Tusker FC side. So this is Jojo Diambo finding space to move away from that corner. Still toying around with the ball as well. Manages to pass it to Marlon Tangawizi. It's a foul on that body charge. Jojo Diambo himself pushed off the ball. He's going by the name Jojo Gutu at the moment. And he had gotten the better of Bodo here, who then just pushed him out using his knees. It's going to be a free kick for the Tusker FC side. Roger Zalora will be taking it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 white jerseys in the penalty area to wait for it. None of them going for the ball. But a good clearance here by the Sharks. Ultimately a better one coming off the feet of Tomateka. But Tusker pick it up again. Marlon carves it nicely onto the right side to Zakayo. Very creative, wanted to get a 1-2 from Jojo Diambo, who himself will be penalized for a foul. Well, Jojo Diambo and Zakayo seem to know one another. They've just given each other a little bit of a thumbs up, like let's run it that way. This will be going out of the field of play for a throw-in that is going to be for the Sharks players. Jacob, a lot of rumors flying around as well. The latest, well, this was from a friend of mine who's usually very optimistic, was that he hoped you were going to come back into coaching. He even knows the team you're going to.
I'm still, but coaching is part of my life, and I'm still coaching here.
Yes.
So I'm still at Liberty Academy coaching there, so I don't know why they say I'm coming back into coaching.
He told me specifically that he knows you're going to be the coach of that team. I don't know who he's consulting.
But he's right.
He's right, is he?
Yes, if that is what he said,
yeah.
Right, yeah.
I'll tell you secretly what team he said you're going to. I don't know where he got his information from, but he says he knows you'll be standing there. I thought I'd be the first to get this kind of information, but I'll be waiting for that as well. Majak headed this one down. The clearance is coming from the captain, Eric Juma. He bangs it onto the face of Luke Namanda. It goes into the net, and Luke Namanda suddenly is appearing on the score chart for today.
Well, yeah, it's because the last touch came from him, but the hard work was executed by David Majak. Well, possession has changed here. Kariobangi were tops, but now Tusker has taken a 4% increase in terms of possession more than the Kariobangi Sharks. And I think Matano's halftime talk has worked more than Coach William Luya, because a different side, different kind of approach by the Tusker side in this one.
Yeah, and the little change has brought in fluidity in the game as well for the Tusker FC side. It was a little bit very rigid, but with the introduction of Marlon Tangauzi and then Zakayo and Jojo Diambo, now there's some fluidity. It's flowing a little bit, and the Shark side is finding it difficult to contain that. Odenyi Faraj is the guilty man in this tackle. And they're going to get a foul here on Julius Masaba.
Well, that's a very tough tackle from Odenyi. He came in full throttle.
Very hard tackle he did. The players get well very quickly, Jacob. I've said this before. Here's a chance for a cross. Well weighted, but very well cleared as well. Roger Zalora has been a very good inclusion in defense for the Tusker FC side. 1-2. The Sharks trailing this one.
New substitution. Otieno clips Humphrey Mieno, one of the most experienced players on that side. He has won it before.
Very
Tusker.
high boot, that one, Jacob. Very high boot. Too high a boot there.
The smiles are gone now.
Yeah, sometimes it becomes very difficult to contend with what's going on the field. You almost wish you could be the one issuing instructions or doing something different in there. But the love of the game is there.
Well, they call it an emotional game, football. That is what it is, and you can see clearly from the look of the beauties that it's not the same anymore.
Well then, Jacob, I, as usual, would have to leave you in here to continue this, and I'm going to make the long landing walk down onto the field. I'll see you after the game.
Do I wish you a bon voyage again?
Merci beaucoup.
Tusker now, they have an opportunity. A good goal here, and it's all over for Kariobangi Sharks here.
What?
That is Namwanda making him the second goal here. What a thunderbolt, and what a celebration by Tusker. Bwire has no opportunity to save that one. It's all over for Sharks in this one. Yes, and what a celebration. Shark crestfallen here. They have only 2 minutes here into the game. Namanda busting with his full speed on that left side. Well, a good pass by Blackberry, a good dummy by Zakayo, and what a blast here by Namanda. Well, good display here by Tusker, but I tell you, the youngster Zakayo did the donkey work, and the first touch of Namanda brings him into a shooting range. Blackberry started the move here. Zakayo did well to make the change, and then pushing it to Namanda, the first touch, and what a second chance, and what a goal. 3-1 is the scoreline here at the Moi International Sports Complex, Kasarani. Tusker FC lead by 3-1. Well, I'll tell you from the body language, the Kariobangi Sharks are crestfallen here. Tusker has scored a brilliant third goal. 3-1 is the scoreline here at the Moi International Sports Complex, Kasarani. Wow, the shouts of Igwe from the Tusker fans in the stands. They know they will move. They're already in the second position in the Kenya Premier League, and they will have closed the gap to 1 point against Gor Mahia, though Gor Mahia will have played 2 matches short. Their game has been postponed because they have more than 3 players in the national team. They have already landed in Kampala, Uganda for the start of the SCAFA. They play Tanzania on Sunday. Remember, Harambee Stars, the defending champions. They won that under Paul Put in Machakos. Now they come in to defend their title under Francis Kimanzi. Well, the last time he coached Harambee Stars in 2008, he reached the finals, and they were beaten by Cranes by a solitary goal. Sharks trying to get it on the left. Well, Tusker turning out the Sharks border on the left for Sharks now, trying to get second half substitute here. Well, 3 minutes have been added into the 90 minutes here. We're playing the first minute, so 2 more minutes to go here. Sharks are trying to come back into this game. Look at how many white shirts are behind the ball. Matano would hear none of that here. Well, president of the federation, who is very closely associated with the Sharks, cannot believe what he's seeing here. And it looks like Tusker, they've not finished yet with him. Blackberry, very experienced man. He knows that he's going to hit a few minutes out of this game. His inclusion in the second half has brought a new phenomena on that Tusker side. Well, good play by Miano. It's been fouled here by Duke Abuya. It's a foul for Tusker. What a run on the left side again here by Tusker, bringing in a telling cross. cleared by Sharks. What can they do here? There's a time for Sharks now to make it here, but Odenye would hear none of that. He's cleared it. Sharks, do they have the firepower? Good opportunity, the flag stays down. Sharks still a lot of watchers behind the ball. Playing into the last 30 minutes of this game. Tusker will move to 24 points, just below Gor Mahia with 25. Bandari still playing in Mombasa against Wazito. At one time it was 2-1. So, but we'll be giving you the full results of that game. William Luya is not a happy coach, I'll tell you. He's a very calm, cool, calm and composed coach, but his body language today, it shows clearly he's not a happy man. Well, you can hear the Lion Matano shouting instruction on that touchline. He knows it's almost impossible for Sharks to get the goals. Well, at one time it was all smiles here. Now it's faces of disillusionment, thinking now what happens next. Because Sharks, I'll tell you, I don't even remember the last time they won a game. Wazito still losing 2-1 to Bandari. The game's still on play here. The same kickoff, so I think both games should be coming to an end any minute. Tusker, you have to admire their speed once they cross the halfway line. Sharks have the numbers. Do they have the speed? They brought in Mwendwa. We've not seen so much. He's the man of the ball now. What can he do? Trying to look on the blind side. They still have the possession, the Sharks. The captain of the side here, Eric Juma. I think we'll be waiting any time here for the final whistle because we played already a minute on top of the 3 minutes at a time. Well, I think that is the final whistle here at the Moi International Sports Complex, Kasarani. The home side, Kariobangi Sharks, has been hit by Tusker 3-1. They started the scores by scoring the first goal through the youngster Machika Kevington, but then Tusker had other ideas. Coming back in the second half, it's been a very different Tusker side. Namanda, the star of this game, he has scored twice. His first goal actually hit his face and went into a goal. Majak's head work here. While at the Moi International Sports Complex, Kasarani, Kariobangi Sharks 1 and then Tusker 3.